Bursting in the air, he reached out to raise the lantern flame, but was stopped in his tracks by two sharp, rhythmic knocks on the solid wooden door. Koto Kot. Who's there? Rana managed to choke out, his voice trembling. No answer. Only the squelching sound of bare, wet feet dragging through mud drifted from the other side. The footsteps began pacing, circling the perimeter of the room just outside the thin walls. Paralyzed with dread, Rana crept toward the door and peeked through the tiny peephole. Outside, the yard was empty, save for the towering silhouette of an ancient silk cotton tree against the black sky. Then, something began pelting the tin roof. It was not rain. Looking closely through the window crack, Rana's heart leaped into his throat. Splattering against the tin were thick globs of black blood and severed, crushed human fingerbone fragments. The dark liquid began oozing down the edges of the window frame. Terror seized him. As he spun around, his skin crawled. A massive charred black hand was pressed against the glass of the lantern. The skin hung off it in decaying shreds, and long, blood-caked fingernails scraped slowly down the glass, leaving behind a greasy smear. And right above his bed, a pair of severed legs hung suspended from the wooden ceiling. There was no torso, just two rotting, blackened legs swaying gently without a breeze, dripping dark blood onto the muddy floor below. Rana backed into a wall, but his legs felt rooted to the ground. He tried to scream, but no sound escaped his throat. It felt as though invisible, ice-cold fingers were clamping his windpipe shut. That was when he felt a freezing breath directly against the back of his neck, followed by a rasping whisper. "Why aren't you looking at me, Rana? You wanted to see me, didn't you?" The voice was harsh, metallic, and scraped against his ears. Terrified, he slowly turned his head. Standing inches from his face was a towering, pitch-black figure. It had no face, only charred, rotting flesh hanging off bone, and where its eyes should have been, two burning red sockets oozed fresh blood. With a sickening, wet crunch, the entity snapped its neck at an unnatural angle, leaning in until its icy, decaying skin dragged across Rana's cheek. The sheer cold burnt his skin. Opening a cavernous, jagged jaw, the creature let out a low, guttural laugh. "Come with me now, before the blood on your roof dries." The lantern shattered on the floor, plunging the room into total darkness. From the abyss came the sickening sound of bones snapping, followed by a muffled gasp that no one in the village would ever hear.